Pokemon was one of my childhood games. Monkey was what I was called as a child. I love monkeys and I always used Mankey and Slaking when I played Pokemon Emerald. But it always felt unfulfilling because Mankey was a fighting type Pokemon and Slaking was a normal type Pokemon. Their moves were just boring. Fortunately, I got my hands on the Nintendo 3DS and Pokemon Y. I knew nothing about Pokemon Y, but once you're a Pokemon trainer, you're always a Pokemon trainer. This version started just like Pokemon Emerald. There's Mom, there's Neighbor, and there's Professor. In Pokemon Emerald, his name was Professor Birch. In Pokemon Y, his name is Professor Suckme Moore. He's not that important though. What's really important is what I encountered in the first forest. A water-type monkey Pokemon. That is what I was missing. I knew right away. So I caught the Panpour. Panpour being a water monkey, I was gonna name him Wonky, but to also pay homage to Mankey, I named him Wanky. That wasn't all though. I had another encounter with a grass-type monkey. He was in. His original name was Pansage, but with me, he was Broccoli, because... And a fire monkey. I named him Fire Turd, because... I stored my starter Pokemon away, never to be seen again. I also met up with some friends, told them my name was War Machine, but they wanted to use nicknames, so I told them my nickname was Lil Wee Wee.
Okay, Lil Wee Wee suits you perfectly.
Demoralized by the backhanded compliment, I went to battle many Pokemon trainers to level up my Pokemons, because if my Pokemons faint, they are out and cannot be brought back to life. During that process, I also met a guy who was rocking Monkey Trio. Wanky whacked them all though. I leveled up all my monkeys to level 10 where Wanky learned Water Gun, Fire Turd learned Incinerate, and Broccoli learned Vine Whip. With the monkeys having learned their special moves, I felt confident to challenge my first gym. The girl at the front said she would give us a pair of roller skates if we beat her. You might as well call me Trump when it comes to beating women. I entered the gym and it was epic. I talked to the guy at the front, he told me it was a bug type gym and all I had to do was slide down the pole. The gym had a web design where I had to follow a certain path and battle all the trainers. Fire Turd took care of all the regular trainers with ease. The gym leader was a bit tricky though. She was hot. No, I'm joking. Her first Pokemon was Surskit, which looked like a bug, so I used Incinerate like usual, but it did almost no damage. I was becoming afraid that Surskit might be a bug and water type Pokemon. Oh! I sent Broccoli out to whip Surskit, literally. Fire Turd came back out with a potion to redeem himself versus Vivillon, and he did a great job. The Monkey Trio got its first gym badge! The goal for these monkeys is to become Pokemon League champion, and to do that they have to beat all 8 gyms and the Elite Four, the strongest Pokemon trainers in the Kalos region, I think. To make our way to the next gym, I went to Lemonade City. This city was the center of everything, and Professor Suckme Moore's lab was also there. I went to see him, and out of nowhere he asked to battle. Fortunately, my monkeys were not too damaged from the fights on the way to the city, so Fire Turd took care of his Bulbasaur, Broccoli took care of Squirtle, and Wanky took care of Charmander. Suckme Moore was actually really impressed with Monkey Trio, so he gave us one of his Pokemons. I picked Squirtle, named him Linglova, Squirtle Linglova. I put the Squirtle away in a box, and on my way out, I met Lysander, the creator of the Holocaster, which is a video messaging device.
Now listen, it is vital that this world become a better place, and the people in Pokemon chosen to make the world better must work tirelessly to achieve this goal. My desire, it is for a more beautiful world.
He was very fiery. Fire Turd liked him. Our neighbor also liked us, so we were gonna go on a date, but we ended up meeting Lysander again at the cafe. This time, he was with a famous celebrity, Diantha.
You played a young girl so wonderfully in your debut on the silver screen. Wouldn't you rather remain young and beautiful forever and always play such roles?
What a strange question. Why would I want to play the same old role forever? Youth may be beautiful, but it's not all there is to life. Everything changes. I want to live and change like that too.
You were sourcing to be a movie star, correct? Isn't it your duty to be ever beautiful? Everything beautiful should stay that way forever. I would end the world in an instant, so that beauty never fades. I can't stand the thought of the world becoming uglier.
He was still as intense as last time. Diantha said she looks forward to battling us someday and left. Our neighbor also broke our heart and told us it wasn't actually a date. She just wanted to declare our status as rivals. Clearly playing hard to get. Using the Holocaster, Tubby told us to meet him at Route 5. On the way there, a Lucario came to play with us, followed by the trainer. She said she was the gym leader of Charlore City. I told her, that's what you think you are. What you really are is my potential wife. I met Tubby, he danced, and we battled. His first Pokemon was Corphish, and he was surprisingly strong. I had no choice but to heal my Pokemon first because another Vice Grip and Broccoli could be dead. We traded 2 Vice Grips and a Vine Whip. It was a lot stronger than I thought, so I sent Wanky to finish the job. Or so I thought. Oh no! Oh no! Wanky was faster than Corphish though, so another scratch and it was dead. Fortunately, he only had 1 Pokemon. In the battle right after that, we faced Kadabra, which is super strong from my experience playing Pokemon Emerald. On top of that, this one was even faster than Broccoli, and he did a lot of damage. I used Vine Whip and did more than half his HP, which was nice, but once again, Kadabra was fast. No way. Oh, yes. Yes! It was looking great for my Pokemons. The casket, that is. I made it to Camphria Town safe and sound though. In the town's Poke Center, there was an uncle who was a name raider, so I asked him to rate the nickname of my Pokemon.
Wangy is it? That sounds good. It seems very like you.
The town also had a castle, so I visited, but as we were talking, a big problem occurred. Snorlax was blocking a bridge. To wake it up, a Poke Flute was needed, but a very rich and stingy guy in town took it. So we went to Perfum Palace where the guy was. As soon as we entered, he was there, running around looking for his lost Pokemon. I looked around inside, but it was nowhere to be found, so I went out to his back garden to look around, and there it was. With our friend, we cornered the Furfrou, and the rich guy was so happy he wanted to put on a fireworks show. I don't think there was anything even remotely close to this in Pokemon Emerald, so this was a really good surprise. We almost forgot the Poke Flute, but once we got it, Snorlax was woken up, damaged, and captured, just to be put in a box. The monkey trio, on the other hand, were enjoying their new moves. Wanky learned Scout, Fire Turd learned Fire Burst, and Broccoli learned Seed Bomb. With these special powerful moves, we met up with our friend and decided on a 2v2 battle. Tubby and Trump versus War Machine and his potential future wife. Like the man that I am, I kept switching Pokemons to gain as much XP as possible. And as a result, the girl's fleshling died. We won though. I continued my journey to Route 8, having some close calls here and there, but getting through in the end. And on this road, I also found the Leaf Stone. I used the stone on Broccoli, and it evolved. What a cut! After Route 8, I made it to Ambert Town where a fossil lab was located. With our friend, we asked them about fossil and Mega Evolution. They didn't know much about Mega Evolution, but they said there might be something we can learn in the Glitterland Cave. I rode the Rhyhorn to get through the rough terrain. On the way to the cave, I collected a few items, and one of them was a Fire Stone. Of course, this one was for Fire Turd. Glittering Cave was cool though. It took us a while to get to the end of the cave, but once we got there, we were met with a weird guy in red suit. He said he was a Team Flare member and just started a fight. Scout from Wanky took care of his Howdor, and Flame Burst from Fire Turd took care of his Zubat. There were a few more Team Flare members, but they were all easily defeated. I made it to the scientist who was collecting fossils. He offered us a Jaw fossil and a Sail fossil. I picked the Jaw fossil, went back to the lab to bring it back to life, hoped it was a monkey, but it wasn't. The Sail fossil wasn't a monkey either though. I wanted to know if I could get a monkey from fossils, so I talked to a lady to get the Rock Smash TM, then I ran all the way back to the first forest to get a monkey to hold that move. I also thought they were a lot cuter before they evolved, so I got all the original versions. After that, I smashed so many boulders in the cave, trying to get more fossils. I only got one, and it was a flying lizard. I moved on quickly and made it to Sillage City. As I was running to the city's gym, a guy talked to me and started flexing that he won a bicycle race that just took place. I was starting to dislike him, but he also gave me the strength HM, so he was cool. Until he said he was Sillage City's gym leader. I entered the gym, and I had absolutely no idea what type of Pokemon gym it was. To get to each Pokemon trainer, I had to rock climb, which was really weird and probably had nothing to do with the theme of the gym. I figured out that they were weak to grass type moves though, so I just seed bombed my way to the leader. Come on, boss! His first Pokemon was the fossil Pokemon that we didn't pick, it died. His second Pokemon was the fossil Pokemon that we picked, it died. And just like that, Monkey Trio got their second gym badge. I took a tour around the city after, and I was gifted a bike for being the 10,001st customer. I also checked out a cave in the city, and to my surprise, I found a Pokemon that looked a lot like a monkey, but I wasn't sure. What animal is Meditite based on? Meditite resembles a primate of some sort. I caught it first try because he wanted to be with me. I gave the Meditite the nickname of Draculus, and it was a really good timing that we found Draculus after defeating the gym, because it is the only monkey capable of using strength. I spent a really long time leveling up Draculus to catch up with the rest of the tribe. During that process, Wanky also learned a really cool move called Acrobatics. Once I was happy with Draculus's level, I continued my journey and I met the guy from the Glittering Cave again. He lost. He also ran away, so I followed him all the way to Gosen Town. He said Team Flare's gonna use the stones on Route 10 and a fantastic treasure to make everyone on their team happy. Then he ran off again. I followed him and there was clearly a door behind the stone, but I couldn't access it. So I talked to everyone in town until this girl told me to follow her to the hotel and she'll tell us about the stones. She didn't actually tell us anything, just some theories. Clear as day, her true motive was to be in a hotel with a handsome man. There was nothing left to do, so I was going to leave town, but our potential wife number 1 stopped us for a battle. She only had Lucario. Lucario being a fighting type Pokemon, I had Wenki use acrobatics because flying moves counter fighting type. But what I didn't know was Lucario is also a steel type, so it didn't work that well. Steel is weak to fire though, so using Flame Burst and Incinerate, Fire Turret took care of them both. She said Shalor City was just up ahead, so we would battle again soon. Suckmemore also called to tell us the Mega Evolution Guru was in Shalor City. When we got to Shalor City, our friends were also there. Tubby Dance, while Trump told us the Mega Evolution Guru was in the Tower of Mastery. That is the Tower of Mastery. At first, I wasn't a fan of 3D Pokemon games, but the cool structures were starting to win me over. We met the Evolution Guru. He told us there was only one Mega Ring, so we had to fight for it. Tubby said battles weren't his thing. Kamala said the same. Trump wanted to finish his Pokedex first, so it was just me and potential future wife number 2. And like I said before, you might as well call me Trump when it comes to beating women. That still wasn't enough though. The Mega Evolution Guru wanted me to be my potential future wife number 1 first, so I went to her gym. It was a skater's gym. All I had to do was follow the trainers until they noticed, and we battled. The gym was a fighting gym, so with acrobatics, Wenki had no problem taking care of them. After every victory, a bridge to the middle platform is lifted. The second battle started off very rough. The opponent's Heracross had a crazy powerful move. I gave a Soda Pop to Wenki, then Heracross used the same move again. Fortunately, this time it didn't do as much damage, so I decided to use acrobatics. Heracross outspeeding Wenki was not something I expected though, because Monkey Trio is actually on the faster side, but good thing acrobatics was super effective against it. Another bridge was lifted. Third trainer didn't have anything for Wenki. Third bridge lifted. Fourth trainer again did not present much of a threat, and the last bridge was lifted. She came down from the sky doing spinning moves, and we beat both of our potential future wife. Third gym batch obtained! She still didn't give us the Mega Ring though. She wanted us to beat her again. I couldn't say no to a woman who loves getting beat. Battle between us took place again at the Tower of Mastery. Her Lucario wanted to battle with us, so it was a battle between 2 Lucarios. The first time the Mega Evolution was used. Her Lucario fainted in one shot to power up Punch. Women, children, and elders can't get it. Her Lucario felt a strong bond with us and asked to join the team. I said no. As I was about to leave town, potential wife number 2 came and gave us the Surf HM, because to make it to the next city, we needed to cross an ocean. I battled a Pokemon trainer and Draculus leveled up to 37, meaning bro turned from a monkey into a mushroom. Now I don't know if I can use this one anymore. Once a monkey, always a monkey. I explored the sea a little bit and actually found a water stone, so I used it on Wenki. They shouldn't evolve. I met with Suckmemore and Diantha. They yapped about Mega Evolution, which I couldn't use, and Suckmemore gave me the Fly HM, which I couldn't use. So off to the next gym I went. Before I could enter, wife number 2 wanted another battle. She said she wanted to see the Mega Evolution. All she saw was her Pokemon's fainting. The gym in the new city was a grass type gym. To get to the trainers, you had to be Tarzan. The first trainer sent out Broccoli's distant cousin. He died, and so did all the other Pokemons in this gym. So it was time for the old man gardener to take a beating. His first Pokemon was pretty cute looking, but it used acrobatics and took almost half of Draculus's HP. Draculus could no longer carry the team, so I sent out Fire Turret 2, hoping to level him up. He could barely take a hit. Fire Turret came out and took care of Jumpluff pretty easily. The second Pokemon was Gogoat, which was surprisingly tough, and he actually almost took out Fire Turret. I healed Fire Turret with Hyper Potion, and Gogoat was no longer a problem. The third and last Pokemon was... He presented, no problem. Easy 4th batch for Monkey Trio. The gym leader also gave us the Grass Knot TM, which would be really useful later. Lysander caught us right after we won. He said he heard that we mastered Mega Evolution and told us to think about how to use it to change the world into a new, beautiful world. Still very fiery. On the way to the next city, Suckmemore's underling told us that there was a power outage and the power plant was just up ahead, so I went to check it out. Little to my surprise, a Team Flare member was there. We easily defeated him and he ran away.
Aw, where's my power plant pass? Oh no, did I drop my power plant pass somewhere? Oh, I know what to do. I'll make a stylish deduction. I must have dropped it when I was feeling around that border 9 steps east of where I'm standing.
I entered the power plant with the hard-earned key. This guy said we couldn't save him because we were just a kid. This guy was trying to sell us fresh water for 300 instead of 200. This guy tried to hide and got stuck. Bruh. I had to beat a lot of Team Flare members. The last 2 were at the center of the power plant, about to steal all the power. First opponent, Bald Guy. First Pokemon, Houndoom. Dead. He had the best reaction to a loss though. The girl introduced herself as a scientist of Team Flare, but her Pokemon was Mightyena. Even Electrode would have been more fitting for a scientist. For having a terrible choice of Pokemon, Broccoli bombed it to death, and the hero, War Machine, saved the power plant from being misused by Team Flare. Two more heroes showed up with really cool music and healed our Pokemons, but they looked familiar. Probably a coincidence. This guy knew we'd be able to save him, never doubted. This guy sold fresh water for 100 instead of 200. This guy was not stuck, he was enjoying the cool breeze in there. After saving the power plant, it was time to move on to the next gym.
The Pokemon, the flower Pokemon, the Pokemon that was given eternal life.
I had no idea who that was, but he looked pretty interesting. I went through the gate back to Lemonade City where we met wife number 3. She told us since the power came back on, they were gonna light the Prism Tower. Oh, so cool. The Lemonade City Gym is back on. This gym was an electric gym and it had a pretty cool system. To advance to the next stage, you got a quiz. To answer, you had to go up to a trainer in front of an elevator. They of course battled you before they let you in. Our first trainer was defeated very easily, so all we had to do after that was get in the elevator and wait to see if the answer was right. I was wrong on the first one, so I battled another trainer. The second quiz was a bird, the trainer was a breeze, and the question was not a problem either. Third quiz was literally my own Pokemon. Of course I got it right first try. The fourth quiz, I got 3 different silhouettes and I had to answer which one was Vivillon. I didn't get it right the first try, I didn't get it right the second try, but one thing I was confident of, it would have never taken me more than 3. Finally, it was time to battle the gym leader. His sister warned us that he was strong. His first Pokemon being that cute was not convincing though. Oh my god! I had to switch in Fire Turd because Broccoli was weak to flying moves. The second Pokemon was Magneton, which is super weak to fire. His ability allowed him to live a little longer, and he took the opportunity to electrify the battlefield. Still died soon after. His third Pokemon, Heliolisk. Draculus destroyed it, and the Lemonade City Gym leader had been defeated. 5th gym badge for Monkey Quadruple. Right after we beat the gym, Suckmemore wanted to meet us at Lysander's Cafe. He told us it was close to the tower. Lemonade City is way too difficult to navigate though, so I just used the taxi to get there. Lysander was there. We learned that Lysander is the descendant of the king's younger brother from 3,000 years ago. The legend that was passed down told a story of a king who built an ultimate weapon that killed a lot of people. Lysander thinks it's a good thing because in a way, it wiped out all the filth of the world, and he left, menacingly. Thanos mentality. I flirted with the girls in the cafe. One of them said Team Flare is the red-suited saviors of the world, and the other said she would have 5 million Ps saved for Lysander soon. She didn't elaborate. The vibe in the cafe is pretty weird, so I left and went to meet up with friends on Route 14. Trump compares Pokédex to ours to see who had seen more Pokemon. That was his way of battling. He lost. Wife number 2 actually wanted to battle. We know how that went. Once everyone had gathered, we went to the scary house together. It was a dark and stormy night many years ago. Lost, I arrived at this house and went inside. The lights were not turned on, so I fearfully looked around the house. Eventually, I made my way into the kitchen. There was no sign of anyone being there. I found the fridge, and when I opened it, a faint light leaked out. I could finally make out my surroundings, and I saw a faint outline of a man huddling in the corner of the room. I tried to tell him that I was lost, and I was hoping he would let me stay until morning. But when I approached him, the man suddenly screamed, "Stay back!" I apologized and continued to plead my case. "Please, can you help me?" "I'm not talking to you!" he shouted. I looked at the man in surprise. When I did this, the man asked me, "Can't you see them? Behind you! A horde of faceless men!" Now then, since I told a wonderful story that would always haunt you, would you be so kind as to tip me? I paid the man 100p because I respected the effort to scam. And I arrived at Lavert City. There was a gym in the city and it was a fairy type gym. To get around in this gym, you had to stand on the yellow circle. It teleported you to different rooms, so I tried to avoid battling trainers to stay as healthy as possible for the gym leader. But it actually didn't seem like that was possible. I battled everyone, then I made it into this room which I couldn't get to before. I was able to skip the girl in the room and just go straight to the gym leader though. I I skip ya. Her name was Valerie. Her Pokemons were vanishing. Easy 6 batch for the monkeys! There was also a Pokeball factory in this city, so our friends invited us to see it. But when we got there, Kamala and Trump were chased away by Team Flare. The Pokeball factory had actually been taken over by Team Flare. 3 high-level Team Flare members were pressuring the factory manager into working for them. But Hero War Machine was there to save the day. Red-Head Girl did not stand a chance. She was frustrated. Green-Head Girl and Purple-Head Girl did not stand a chance against War Machine and Wife Number 2. They scrambled like cowards. To thank us, the manager let us pick between a Big Nugget and a Master Ball. I picked the Big Nugget, but he gave me the Master Ball anyway. The attack had no effect on the sales of Pokeballs, but this guy, he really squeezed my balls. His Swoobat did a lot of damage to Broccoli, so I sent Fire Turd out to take care of it. Then he sent out Seadra, which is a seahorse, so I sent Broccoli back out. But somehow, he had a flying move. No way! Oh, what? No way! No way! Oh my god! I sent Draculus to fight instead, and 1 Palm, 2 Palm, he's dead. For some reason, the battles between each cities are harder than actual gyms. I still made it to Dendemille Town with no problem though. Suckmemore came and told us about the legendary Pokemon of the region, Yveltal. He said the Pokemon had a lifespan of 1,000 years, and at the end of its life, it would steal all the spirits around it. Suckmemore speculated that the Pokemon was still sleeping though. That probably meant we were gonna see it soon. To prepare, I visited a couple who could delete and remember Pokemon moves. I asked the husband to remove the move cut from Broccoli, and I made Broccoli learn Grass Knot. The heavier the Pokemon, the more damage Grass Knot did, so it was great against most legendaries. They were usually pretty big. We were told something was wrong in the Frost Cavern though, so Hero War Machine is back with a consistent near death against random trainer. But of course it was okay because I had a lot of Pokemons. Oh my god! Even against Fire Turd, Scrafty took more than half the HP. Fortunately, he missed the next attack and died. That's the price for such a powerful move. Hero War Machine eventually found the problem, and of course, it was Team Flare. This time, they were trying to take a Bulma Snow to use it as a power source. Wanky scolded them and chased them away. And this is the scene of a hero leaving the scene. There was nothing left to do at Dendemille Town, so I went to Anistar City to get the 7th gym badge. Wife number 2 wouldn't let us challenge the gym without beating her first though. Meowstic never stood a chance. New Pokemon, Vaporeon. Vaporeon was super cool, still died in one move. Chestnut almost killed a fellow vegan. Vegans don't forgive, so Vegan sent out a friend to burn another vegan. Absol being a dark type was super weak to fighting moves. Wife number 2 beaten again. And it was time for Anistar City Gym. This gym was the coolest gym of them all because it was a psychic gym. To navigate this gym, we had to walk on the path and of course, battle trainers. To get to the next stage, we had to stand on the yellow box. It teleported us to different routes with different trainers. At this point, the monkeys were super strong, so they had no problem at all with the psychic Pokemons. The gym leader, Olympia, was pretty tough though. Just kidding, it literally took one move to beat her entire team. 7th bath for the monkeys. After the gym battle, Lysander made a public announcement to everyone.
Pokemon trainers, I come to you by the Holocaster to make an important announcement. Listen well. Team Flare will revive the ultimate weapon, eliminating everyone who isn't in our group, and return the world to a beautiful natural state. Unproductive fools are consuming our future. If nothing changes, the world will become ugly, and conflicts will raise the land from end to end. I repeat, we will use the ultimate weapon and wipe the slate clean. I'm sorry those of you who are not members of Team Flare, but this is to you all.
Hero War Machine back at it again. I made my way to Lemonade City and I used a taxi to get to his cafe. I talked to the waitress. She was a Team Flare member.
At this rate, he'll figure out there's a hidden door to Lysander's lab.
I looked around the cafe and this shelf was sus.
Oh no, he'll figure out the password to the hidden door in this cafe is open sesame.
Team Flare was really hard to interrogate. Lysander was right behind the door to greet us. And Hero War Machine took him on. His first Pokemon was Mienfoo, which Wanky counters really hard. His second Pokemon, the classic Gyarados. Gyarados is both water type and heavy, so Broccoli used Grass Knot. But Gyarados being Gyarados, he tanked that hit no problem. Seed Bomb was too much though. The third Pokemon was a fire type, Pyroar. Probably top 5 coolest Pokemon so far in the run. Top 5 easiest Pokemon to beat as well. His last Pokemon was Murkrow. I see bird, I burn it. The leader of Team Flare was surprisingly easy. Of course, he wouldn't just give up though. Lysander took the elevator down and told us to find the elevator key ourselves. We met the Team Flare member from the power plant. She still had Myena, but she also got another Pokemon. The new Pokemon was Druddigon. Still not very scientist-like, so using Mind Reader to make sure the attack doesn't miss, Draculaus took it out with High Jump Kick. She didn't have the key though. And somehow the other heroes were also there. They were always there to be there. They never helped. I had to fight Team Flare alone, and to my surprise, Magnetric, an electric Pokemon, used a fire move on Broccoli and almost took it out. Fire Turret came out to teach how it's actually done. Drapion was out-chatted by Draculaus, and Purple Hair had a mental breakdown. Green Hair was next, suffered the same fate. Mental breakdown. Both of them didn't have the key, but they told us their plan. They stole electricity from the power plant to activate the ultimate weapon. They also needed energy absorbed from Pokemons to power the device, which was why they were trying to catch a Boma Snow. To absorb the energy, they were going to use the stones on Route 10. Those stones were actually graves of Pokemons from 3,000 years ago. They all died because of the ultimate weapon. I had to hurry, so I quickly found the last high-ranking member of Team Flare and took care of her. She gave us the elevator key, and we took it underground to find Lysander. When we got there, Lysander was standing in front of a jail cell, and in the cell was the big guy we saw at the Badlands. He told us about a story 3,000 years ago. Lysander walked away menacingly. We followed him to the chamber where we met his head scientist. His name was Cirrosic, and his main Pokemon was Crobat. Crobat was pretty easy to deal with. His second Pokemon, Malamar, was dealt with the same way.
Behind me, you find a red button and a blue button. One of them is the button for activating the ultimate weapon. Push one now. Come on, push one!
Red is the color representative of danger and destruction. But with Team Flare, I knew it was reverse psychology. finger slipped. I hurried back to Gosen Town where the ultimate weapon was. The stone that was blocking the door was no longer there, so we were able to get into Team Flare's secret headquarters.
The ultimate weapon's flower has finally bloomed above the soil. Don't you find its beauty captivating? As we speak, it draws its energy from the legendary Pokemon.
We're not going to let you use the ultimate weapon.
Even though resources, space, and energy on this planet are limited, the number of people in Pokemon has increased to an unsustainable level. Whether it's money or energy, the ones who steal are the ones who win in this world.
But that doesn't give you the right to destroy everyone but the ones Team Flare chooses.
So tell me, the Mega Ring, did you share it?
That's different. We competed for it, but...
When there's only one of something, it can't be shared. When something can't be shared, it will be fought over. And when something is fought over, some must survive without it. The only way to create a world where people live in beauty, a world without conflict or theft, is to reduce the number of living things.
What about Pokemon? Tears? Why?
Pokemon shall no longer exist. Pokemons are wonderful things. Humans have worked with Pokemons, and we have helped each other flourish. But precisely because of that, they will inevitably become tools for war and death. Enough of this! You want to stop the ultimate weapon, and I refuse to do so. So I will keep you busy just for a moment.
Second battle with Lysander. His Mienfoo evolved into Mienshao, still died to one shot. His Pyroar still died to one shot. His Gyarados still as tough as ever, but also still dead. His Murkrow evolved into Honchkrow. It was just more fur to burn and more meat to cook. Lysander still didn't give up though, so we had to go stop the machine ourselves. The legendary battle between Yveltal and Hero War Machine! Yveltal's first move was Oblivion Wing, and Fire Turret was in danger. I used Hyper Potion to heal Fire Turret, while Yveltal used Dark Pulse. It was even more powerful than Oblivion Wing. When I had my opportunity, I tested Flame Burst on Yveltal. The damage was pretty good, but using Oblivion Wing, Yveltal restored most of its HP back. So my new strategy was to make Yveltal go to sleep, because if he was awake, he was too dangerous. Once Yveltal fell asleep, I used Flame Burst and Incinerate to lower its HP, but it woke up, nearly killed Fire Turret again, and restored half his HP. The tactic wasn't bad though, so I did it again. This time I managed to make its HP low without waking it up, so I tried to catch it as well. Being a legendary Pokemon, it wasn't easy to catch, but after just one more attempt, it was ours. By ours, I mean the computer in the Poke Center. Our wives came to glaze our skills, but Lysander wasn't gonna let us do that. He came with his new battle kit, ready to take us down on his third attempt. Mienshao, meh. Pyro, Honchkrow, Gyarados.
It's over! Fools with no vision will continue to befoul this beautiful world. They will go on until the only thing left to do is to squabble over the remaining scraps of hope. Roar! War Machine, Sycamore's pupil. The ultimate weapon is a flower that bloomed to no avail just like me. But this ends here. I will show you what its remaining power can do.
We ran for our lives, literally. Uh-oh. He dead, boy! After saving the world, it was time for the hero, War Machine, to fulfill his dream of becoming a Pokemon League champion with monkeys. Except Suckmemore wanted round 2. All his Pokemons were evolved, but so were mine. Fire Turd took 2 shots to defeat Venusaur. Blastoise, being a big water Pokemon, made him super weak to Grass Knot. And even some Pokemons that were not weak to water fainted to Scald, so Charizard stood no chance. Saving the world really made us a target though, because even our friends wanted to battle us. Her first Pokemon was Delcatty. We took care of it easy. Her second Pokemon was Goodra. Grass Knot didn't work on it, and it countered Broccoli, so I sent Fire Turd out because Fire Turd is not weak to poison. Goodra wasn't weak to fire either though, and I regret. Our friend ended up being the one to kill our Pokemon. I took care of the rest of our Pokemon without losing anyone else, but it wasn't over. Tubby also wanted to battle, and it turned out our friends were better than any gym leader we had ever faced.
Oh my god!
I spammed Hyper Potion until Talonflame stopped attacking, and Wanky only needed 1 Scout to finish the business. I sent out Fire Turd 2 to fight a Grass-type Pokemon, but he was super weak. Fortunately, his moves were still powerful enough to one-shot Roserade. Tubby's last Pokemon was Crawdaunt, which wasn't bad at all, but it wasn't enough. Even Trump, who was always shy and reserved, wanted to battle, but at least he was willing to heal our Pokemons before battling us, unlike Tubby. With healthy Pokemons though, Trump never stood a chance.
No mas, hombre, no mas.
Our friends had something to do, so they left right away, but before Kamala left, she gave us the Waterfall HM, a move that allows you to go up waterfalls. A turd for a move. I miss Fire Turd! But we had to move on. Snowbell City was the last city with a Pokemon gym. The Snowbell City was an ice-type gym. Fire Turd was supposed to be the one to solo this gym, but he was dead. Fortunately, fighting-type Pokemons are also super effective against ice-type Pokemons, so Draculus carried the team without even taking damage. This old man was the gym leader. He had an Abomasnow, but like most ice Pokemons, it died in one shot to Draculus. Cryogonal suffered the same fate. His last Pokemon, Avalugg, looked pretty tough, and it was tough. Its offense power was very strong as well. The Hailstorm healed a tiny bit of Avalugg's HP. I used Hyper Potion to heal. Another Brick Break almost took it out, but Avalugg used the move Curse to power up its offense and defense. On top of that, Wolfric healed Avalugg with Hyper Potion, so I had to battle a healthier and stronger Avalugg. Brick Break went from doing half of its HP to only a third. Avalugg used another Curse. Draculus used Mind Read to set up its next attack. Avalugg used Curse for the 3rd time. Draculus used its strongest move, High Jump Kick, but because Avalugg had already used Curse 3 times, it was super tough. Another Curse to get even tougher for Avalugg. To have a chance, I had to risk it and use High Jump Kick without setting it up. Fortunately, it paid off. The 8th and last Gym Badge! Wolfric gave us the Ice Beam TM as a gift. With all 8 Gym Badges, there was only one thing left to do, and that is to defeat the Elite Four. I was really excited to battle, and I thought the stairs would lead me right to them, but I actually had to get through Victory Road first. It was a really beautiful road, but the trainers along the way were no joke. Like this Machamp almost took out Broccoli. Something like this happened a few times, but we got through it every time. At the end of the road, wife number 2 came to see us off. Just kidding, she wanted to battle. This time, she had 5 Pokemons. Meowstic was Meowstic, no different. Chestnut managed to take 1 Fire Blast from Fire Turd 2, but it couldn't take Acrobatics after that. Vaporeon was a subject to test Broccoli's new move. It was terrible, and Vaporeon prepared a counter ice move. Wanky came out to finish the job, and it was time for the newest Pokemon, Altaria. This one made me worried because it was only weak to Dragon, Ice, and Fairy moves. It was strong against Fire, Water, Grass, and Fighting moves. I had to put all my faith into a Flying move. Acrobatics was stronger than I thought, and Altaria offense wasn't even good, so Wanky whacked her away. Absol, like usual, was no different to Meowstic. She wished us luck and she was off. The Pokemon League was magnificent! It was beautiful! I was talking about this girl, by the way. She was one of the Elite Four and her name was Malva. We were allowed to choose who we wanted to battle first, and I of course chose Malva because she was hot. literally. She had the female version of Pyroar, but Wanky, being a super strong water Pokemon, took care of it with one Scout. Her second Pokemon, Talonflame, was one of the few Pokemons that were faster than monkeys, and it had a really cool move. Still died to one Scout though. Torkow didn't even land a move, and Chandelure died to Brine. A pretty weak move. One of the Elite Four down. The second Elite Four was a Steel type user.
Wixstraw.
The battle was a tough one because Fire Turret was supposed to be used against him, but he died. Fire Turret 2 couldn't evolve, so he was too weak to be the main Pokemon. Fortunately, Klefki wasn't too hard for Wanky. Probopass was looking like he was gonna be easy, but then he used Discharge on Wanky. It made the battle a little more tricky, but Wanky was still able to pull through. Aegislash was when it got really bad. Aegislash being a Steel and Ghost type Pokemon, I ordered Wanky to use Bite on it, but Aegislash used King's Shield, blocking the attack and lowering Wanky's attack stat harshly. I switched Wanky out and I learned that not only was Aegislash's defense strong, its offense was strong too. I was spamming potions, Aegislash was spamming Iron Head, some of them even critting. Oh! The battle went on for a really long time, with me trying to waste Aegislash PP using Hyper Potions. Aegislash would occasionally use King's Shield and miss, and that was my opportunity to attack. Bite did very little damage, but it was the only safe option, so I kept using that strategy. The Aegislash also flinched, so I got one more bite in. I was actually doing real damage to Aegislash, only for Wickstorm to heal it with full restore. Broccoli tried to use Bite again, but Aegislash timed it perfectly with King's Shield, lowering Broccoli's attack. The next bite was super weak. To have a chance, I took a risk and found the opportunity to send Fire Turret 2 out. I was really scared Turret 2 was gonna get one-shotted. He was just tough enough to hang on. Shadow Claw from Aegislash? Not even close. In a way, I was really torturing Turret 2 because I kept healing him and letting him get super close to dying. I thought I had to risk it though. Turret 2's only fire move, Fire Blast, was a really strong move with a power of 110, so the chance of it killing Aegislash in one hit was high, but the accuracy was only 85%, which is what I was worried about. Fortunately, Turret 2 was a sniper.
Let's go!
Wickstrom's last Pokemon was Scizor, a Bug and Steel Pokemon, meaning it was super weak to fire type moves. Scizor used Bullet Punch on Turret 2, but it wasn't effective. Turret 2 once again showed that he was a sniper, hitting a move with 85% accuracy back to back. Another member of the Elite Four defeated. The next member of the Elite Four was a Dragon type Pokemon trainer. Dragon type was tricky because we didn't have any moves that were effective against it. Until I remember that Wolfric, the Ice Gym leader, gave us an Ice Beam TM. Her name was Drasna. Her Pokemon was Dragouch. Ice Beam was bad. Dragouch used Thunderbolts. Wanky nearly dead. War Machine took a risk. Wanky used Acrobatics to finish off Dragouch. Next Pokemon was Altaria. War Machine and Wanky had experience, so it was no problem. Noivern was pretty scary, appearance-wise, but once he used Dragon Pulse, I knew it was gonna be easy.
Why are dragon moves so weak? They're supposed to be cool and good.
Her last and final Pokemon was Druddigon. It was gone. I beat an old lady! Only one more of the Elite Four left. The last member of the Elite Four was a Water-type Pokemon user, and he probably had the coolest room of them all. Seabolt was his name. His first Pokemon was Clawitzer. Broccoli bombed the shrimp, cooked to perfection. Barbaraco, cooked. Gyarados, twisted up. Starmie, surprisingly tough, but Broccoli's better. We defeated the Elite Four! Monkey on top! Monkey on top! Or so I thought. There was actually another trainer we had to defeat. A trainer better than all the Elite Four. The current Pokemon League champion, Diantha. Not only was she the most popular celebrity, she was also the Pokemon League champion. She sent out Hawlucha, but I had Broccoli, who was weak to flying Pokemons, as my starter Pokemon. So I had to switch it out, and that allowed Hawlucha to land the first move on Wanky. It wasn't powerful, but Hawlucha was faster than Wanky, so Wanky had to take another shot. Wanky made up for all the damage it took with one Scout. Diantha used full restore on Hawlucha. I used Hyper Potion on Wanky. With the battle being even again, Wanky easily took care of Hawlucha. Diantha's second Pokemon was Aurorus. The evolved evolved version of the fossil Pokemon we didn't pick. It was an ice and rock Pokemon, which made it super weak to fighting moves. Dianthir's third Pokemon was Gorgeous, more like hideous. I didn't like it, so I made Turtu get rid of it swiftly using Fire Blast. Dianthir's fourth Pokemon was the evolved version of the fossil Pokemon we picked. It was really cool, but two little weeds twisted its ankle. The battle was going really well until Dianthir reminded me of my trauma. Too bad for her! Martial arts counter past traumas. Dianthir's last and final hope at winning was Gardevoir, a Mecha Evolved Gardevoir. It died to one Seed Bomb. And just like that, the monkeys became the Pokemon League champion! A few days later, crowds of people gathered in Lemonade City to celebrate the 5 defenders of the Kalos region and to cheer for its new champion, War Machine. The king from 3,000 years ago. The man who built the ultimate weapon. The man who wiped out thousands of Pokemons and humans. We finally got to battle him. Trainer AZ. Torkoal had a crazy scary looking move. Fortunately, it was Wanky on the receiving end of it. No matter how strong the fire Pokemon was, none stood a chance against Wanky. Sigilyph was the second Pokemon. With Air Slash and the burn effect caused by Torkoal, they almost took down Wanky, but after using full restore to heal the burn and restore our health, Sigilyph was no problem. AZ's last Pokemon was Golurk, a 727-pound Pokemon. 2 little weeds was all it took to send Golurk to the Gulag.